Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the Pop Culture Effect podcast. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show I bring my closest friends together to talk about all of the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I am here with my two friends, Blaze.
What up?
And Gemini.
Hello.
The topic pertaining to this episode, with how much different kinds of reactions certain fans are giving to both the movie industry and the streaming industry, I think a good thing to talk about is hope. Whether that's good or bad hope, we're gonna find out. So, Blaze, talking about hope in this type of environment, what kind of hope do we even have for the Flash movie?
Little to none, I must say. Also, I feel like it's come to my attention that am I just the movie nut in the group at this point? Because whenever I have something movie related to discuss, I am the only one in the group that has actually seen it.
Well, I
I
mean,
think you are.
You are the one that has the most availability for time to go out and watch the movies. And
I don't think it's that. I think it's probably he enjoys seeing movies more than the rest of us. I mean, for me, yeah, I'd like to be able to go out and see movies in theater, but sometimes I don't have the time, but also like I have to drive like a good 25 to 30 minutes away to the closest theater, and I don't want to do that all the time. And gas is expensive, movie tickets are expensive, and not many of my friends like to see that stuff, and the ones that do are busy as shit. So I don't want to go to the movies by myself.
See, I just hate all the other people you interact with when you're at the movies.
See, for
I don't
me,
care.
I have it very lucky for me. So, for one, my movie theater is like less than 10 minutes away. It's pretty much a straight shot there. And on top of that, I have a special VIP membership with my cinema, where I only pay $20 a month and I get 3 free tickets a week.
Okay, so that
really
explains it. That is cool.
I abuse the fuck out of it.
Who wouldn't? Anyway,
But,
about the Flash movie.
Yeah, going back to what I was talking about, the Flash movie. Visually, actually, I don't want to say visually because the CGI in it was really bad as well. But story-wise, the Flash movie was really good for a DC film. But all the shit that is going on around this film is making it completely tank in the box office.
Is that one dude still like the main Flash? Everyone's like,
I don't know if Ezra Miller is going to continue to be the Flash after this movie is done. I know the director is very dead set on making Ezra Miller be the only Flash. He's even stated that he only sees Ezra as the Flash.
Kind of like, we see Steve Rogers as, the base Captain America. RDJ is like, OG Tony Stark and all that jazz for the MCU at the very least, Yeah.
We have Grant Thompson right there, though.
Grant Gustin.
Oh, Grant Gustin. Oh, well. Damn.
But, the Flash movie with Ezra Miller surrounding the whole controversy of all the allegations that have got put on him has made a lot of people not want to watch the Flash movie, and it is showing in the numbers.
Honestly, I don't mean to cut you up. Real quick, honestly, I thought, because I don't know actors' names, except for the certain ones that I obsess over, which is 2. I honestly thought that the dude who played the Flash in the TV show was Ezra Miller, so that's why I was a little sad. It's he kind of nice to look at, so that's why I was sad. But I didn't know it was Ezra Miller was some random other dude. Honestly, I don't see him as the Flash, if I'm gonna be honest. I see it as that dude from the TV show.
Yeah. For me, the TV show Flash, Grant Gustin, he is by far a better Flash. He looks a lot closer to him, and his acting is really good for the character. But besides the point, the movie was projected to have been the budget for it was projected around $200 million, which usually adding in the money they have to give the theaters for the tickets, the portion of it, and also marketing, usually it's double of what they put into it. So they need to make about $400 million just to break even. That's before they can even start making a profit.
That's ridiculous.
And The Flash has been out for over a week now and is still only at about $140 million.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Ew.
Yeah, it was supposed to make, it was projected by Warner Brothers that they were going to try and make $70+ million on the opening weekend, and they only made 56, which is less than Black Adam, which only made 68. And on top of people not wanting to watch it because of Grant Gustin, the people that have watched it are very much dissing the CGI and VFX that are in this movie because it looks very rushed and chopped. If it's a scene that you think was made in like a week, it's because it was. There was a few VFX artists that actually worked on the movie that posted YouTube videos discussing how rushed they were to make this and how little profit that the companies were really giving these people and the time needed to make these CGI effects look good for the films. As long as it makes money, they don't care how bad or how quick it looks.
That's not how you do it.
That sounds like the gaming industry to me.
Yeah, freaking, like, so many movies in the early 2010s have so much better CGI than these new ones that are coming out because they actually put the time and effort into them.
I mean, at least DC is kind of mirroring how Marvel is handling their CGI nowadays. It's just all kind of mid.
Yeah, the VFX artists have gone online a lot and said that Warner Brothers, Marvel, Disney, they're all going hardcore rush hour on these VFX companies, and there's so few of them left anymore that it's rushing them so bad that they're overworking them and they just don't care.
Yep, sounds like the movie industry.
But that's pretty much all I got for the Flash movie, which is a clusterfuck at the moment, which really sucks because I was hoping for this. The Flash is my favorite DC character, and the story of this is great, but everything behind it just makes me hate the movie.
Yeah, I love the Flashpoint paradox in the comics. Like, I absolutely love that story. And I just feel like with DC now, with all their current day, whether it's like a live action movie or one of their animated movies, they just kind of misrepresent comic stories and kind of just, like, I get the whole adage of wanting to make something new and like change it enough to make it unique. But like, these stories are amazing. Like, it's just so frustrating as a comic books fan.
Yeah, I thought the TV show was good. That's really all I know about the Flash. I'm gonna be honest, because I would watch it like when my mother would have it on a couple years ago and such, and it wasn't bad. I've never really gotten around to sitting down and watching it myself, but the episodes I would peek in and kind of watch with her. You know, they were great.
From what I heard from the fan perspective on it, everybody loved it except for like the latter, like I want to say third of the show, because that's when kind of the quality dipped down a little bit.
That happens with a lot of TV shows. The first couple, like I'd say the first season or two, maybe up to season 3 to 4. If it's a long running show, it starts out good, like, you know, first early seasons, and then as it continues, like say you know, whatever the issue was in the first half of the series, it was, you know, it's resolved, and then they got to try and figure out what to continue to keep it running because it's doing good, and then like it just tanks in quality usually because they're starting to run out of ideas and such, and that is a tragedy for a lot of shows, not just the Flash, but a lot of shows have suffered from that, especially shows that we all know have gone a little too long.
Yeah, and a lot of that really comes down to the studio itself because they want it to keep going for the money aspect, but half the time the directors had a plan for where they wanted it to end, but then had to keep stretching it out.
Speaking of content and IP that just literally won't die, one of the most quintessential video games of the modern era, Minecraft, has been getting a lot of other game releases, a lot of other attention, but Gemini, I know you had looked into something that honestly to me seems a little weird when it comes to how to present Minecraft.
It's a stretch because apparently I think they don't have a full projected release date for it. That at the very least 2025. But at the in August of this year, they plan to start filming the live-action Minecraft movie, which, when I found that, I was like, excuse me, wait.
Okay.
Because, like, and here's the other little kicker tidbit. Guess who will be starring in this movie? None other than Jason Momoa.
My guess was going to be Chris Pratt.
No, I think he's kind of in Nintendo's pocket right now.
But, frickin' Jason Momoa? Is he playing Steve?
No, actually, as I was going through my article again real quick, apparently they claim that Pedro Pascal will be Steve.
What?
Oh, okay, I mean, like Pedro Pascal, but that is is this at least going to be animated? Please tell me this is
live action.
It's live action.
It's all going to be live action?
Oh my god.
Live action Minecraft movie.
Oh god.
Well, it'll probably do CGI. I mean, all live action, quote unquote, have CGI. Like, here's the thing: no movie doesn't have CGI anymore.
That's fair.
That's the thing. So there will be CGI, of course. Like, CGI is pretty much like a staple in movies. This is more of like a cost thing, though, because I guess it's cheaper to do that than have like actual to pay prop artists and such. Tragically, but it's a way that movie producers and such cut corners. But anyway, yeah, apparently. They plan on, I think in New Zealand it said in August of this year, start to plan filming and shooting the live-action Minecraft movie, which we don't have much information aside from the fact that, it's going to star Jason Momoa and Matt Berry from Great Expectations, and supposedly Pedro Pascal as Steve. The producers are I'm going to mess this up and I'm very sorry, Vu Bui? I'm not too sure who that is. Roy Lee, Mary Parent, Lydia Winter, John Bates, these are some names, and John Berg, and Allison Schroeder, who worked on Frozen 2 and Hidden Figures, is the scriptwriter. And then apparently, I think the director is Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, Masterminds, and such like that. So, I mean, it seems like there's some talented people working on this movie, but the fact that it is a live-action movie of Minecraft, a sandbox game, and was the, grandfather of modern, craft and survival games. There's not really a story to it. They've tried to make story modes and everything, the Telltale Games story mode and all, and that new, Minecraft Legends, I think, that came out a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's not that bad, actually, for a game.
Yeah, I haven't played it, but I've heard it's really good. But, still, I don't see how you can make, let alone a live-action movie about this.
Yeah,
I could see trying to make an animated movie. Yeah, of course.
Oh, definitely.
But live action, it's got such an interesting style in the sense of its blocks, it's cubes.
It's like the FNAF movie. It's like that we understand having a movie made out of. That can work. It has the story. It has the fandom. People actually wanted that. Who the fuck wanted Minecraft as a movie?
Yeah, they've been wanting to do this since 2014. That's when it was first, I guess, projected and brought up probably to some, movie directors and producers. Cause yeah, it's been popular for almost 20 years.
God, I feel old.
Because it came out, 2009, so not close to, but still well over 15 years. It's been a very popular game for a long time.
That old? Fuck, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, the first iteration of the game was released in 2009, so it's an old game, but it's never, as Robbie said, it never died. If anything, it's gotten more and more popular, which is great. That's great that the game has been able to keep up and still keep its heat and its popularity and such, especially with children, which I think that's the main,
Yeah. Though it can never keep a good side game. They always seem to die within the first week of the game coming out.
Yeah.
Kind of. That is true, but it's at least nice that the main core game is still able to keep its traction. But I was surprised when I saw that they're going to be, they're going to start filming this really soon, within the next month and a half, 2 months. And so I am curious, what they'll do for a plot and everything. I mean, it's hard to say what they'll do, but at the same time, you kind of have an idea because I don't know. It's interesting and strange.
I mean, at least we know that the trailer is going to absolutely break the internet when it comes out.
Oh, most definitely. I bet that, unless you probably more than likely follow everything that has to do with Minecraft, 9 chances out of 10, this is probably like kind of kept like kind of under wraps. Like, you know, I think there's been a tweet or two here about it, but like aside from that, unless you like keep up with that stuff or like, you know, you keep up with the people who are working on it. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be like an internet breaking thing when like, you know, the first teaser trailer drops.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And speaking on certain IP that's going to break the internet, I mean, maybe this is just me, but I absolutely loved the live, or I want to say live action, but it's like live action CGI, but the Sonic movie. And just recently, it was made public that they are going to be filming the third movie in London, which I think is just great. I'd love to get a different kind of environment and a different kind of vibe with the movie. Of course, we're going to have Shadow in it from the...
Bring my boy Shadow!
I mean, spoiler alert for the second movie, but he was in the post-credit scene. But yeah, that going alongside the Knuckles side series, I think that it's kind of another IP that's going to go the distance when it comes to like their movie lifespan. I'm really looking forward to the Sonic movie, to be honest, just because, like, sure, Ben Schultz isn't the best voice actor, but just like
he does a good job. I think I wouldn't say the best because there's more iconic ones that have done the voice, but he does a really good job for the movie.
I wish we had gotten the Sonic voice actor from the old educational Sonic Says show. That's my Sonic.
Oh God.
And real quick, I just want to say Jim Carrey is yet again going to carry that movie if he is still involved. Like, he is the best Dr. Robotnik. He is the Jack Black to the Bowser for this movie franchise.
Oh, hands down.
I hope he does. I hope he does because, yeah, like, you know, ever since then, I don't see anyone else who could play as Dr. Robotnik as a live action,
right?
You know, variant.
And just before we pass it to you, Blaze, I just want to do one quick thing here because this is something that I learned about just recently. So to all who have seen Across the Spider-Verse, you included, Blaze, it was revealed by the associate editor Andy Leviden, however you pronounce it, that whether it was animation or the voice acting for jokes, there were different versions of the movie that were released around the world.
Yeah, I did hear about that, and I actually saw some scenes on TikTok where someone would have recordings of the movie in theaters and like show the two scenes next to each other, what was different. The main one I saw was there was a couple different changes of small little scenes with Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hare's AI character Lila. Pay attention to her because some of their scenes are different in each version of the movie.
I think that's absolutely genius for marketing because that just gets more social media clicks on it, that gets more attention on it. I think that might actually affect how future movies handle that time. Like, I can't imagine how much of a workload that must be, but man, is that going to pay off in the long run.
What I'm curious is then when it's released, like, say, eventually to a streaming site, or even like the digit or like the hard copy variants of like the movie and such, like the DVDs and such. Are they going to have, like, is each one going to be different, or are they going to just compile it onto one?
I could see them doing a localized version, and then maybe in, like, the special features, they could have, like, a full section just based on all the differences that they've been making.
I would hope so, because, like, I will, at that point, yeah, it's great, it's cool, and everything, but it is a little interesting, because it's like, oh, well, I have this version, well, I have this version, it's just like, well... it's a smidgel annoying, but it's still cool nonetheless.
I think it's going to translate into the next movie. I personally have really high hopes for it. But speaking of things that a lot of people in the internet world have high hopes for, Blaze, what have you got to say about Bleach: A 1,000-Year Blood War?
Oh, I got a lot to say about that. But before I get to that, one little last thing about the Sonic part. The Netflix just released a teaser trailer for the next season of Sonic Prime on Netflix as well.
No way! Oh, I'm so happy to hear that.
It's going to be heavy Sonic and Shadow in the second season. which also just kind of hypes up the third movie even more.
Right. I remember early on when the first season came out, I don't remember which member of the team came out and said this on like Twitter or some social media, but they basically just encouraged people to watch it because if Netflix sees that more people are watching it, they'd make more episodes, and clearly now they've reached that threshold to get that second season. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely going to be cool to see it. I hope it does well. We continue to get more Sonic shows too. But yeah, going to Bleach. June 8th, we are finally getting the second part to Bleach, the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, which is going to be a 4-part series, which is the last part of the manga that will be animated for the series. Bleach ended... When did Bleach end? I think it was like 2012 when the last episode was made before they put it on hiatus. And when 1,000-Year Blood War got announced, people lost their goddamn minds. One of the big three is finally getting its anime finished.
I could see that happening when Fairy Tail eventually has an animated adaptation of the 100-Year Quest or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, hands down.
All right.
One thing I really like that Taitai Kubo is doing with the animation of this final arc is that he's also fixing a lot of, more like nitpick things that he's fixed within the show, like some coloration of how some abilities work or coloration of some hair colors on some characters. He's taking a closer look at this and just kind of correcting the little nitpick stuff. But one thing that I am really hyped about to see with this second part is that after part 1 started airing, Taitai Kubo announced that throughout this series, he's going to be adding in extra stuff that he didn't get a chance to put into the manga because he was on a time crunch for a lot of this last arc.
Oh, that's going to be great.
So not only are we finally seeing stuff in the manga that we've been waiting to see animated, we're seeing new stuff that wasn't in the manga that Taitai Kubo originally wanted in it.
Well, that's nice at the very least.
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
No, continue. No.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, I know for a long time there's been a lot of people that I've known that have been super into Bleach and have been just waiting for this to come out. So I definitely feel like it's going to be quite the attention grabber when it eventually actually comes out.
Oh yeah.
I know for me.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I know for me, I might try to get back into it because I was really into it when I was younger. It was probably the second anime that I got into right after Naruto and such, and I really enjoyed it when I did. But I remember I kind of stopped watching it near the end of the Waco Mundo arc, just before I believe Fate Karakura Town arc. It's still pretty good in the early seasons, I will admit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The early seasons are dope as hell, but I'd say the Waco Mundo arc and such was one of my favorite arcs. Like, I just loved the concept of the Arancars and everything, because mainly, and a little bit of bias, they were heavily based off of more like Spanish stuff and everything, like the names and such literally translated to like espada, sword, in Spanish and such. So I really liked that. I loved it. So, when that was coming to an end, I was sad, and then the tragedy happened, and I was like, whatever. It doesn't matter.
That is one thing I really did like about Bleach was the contrast of races in it. Like, you have the Soul Reapers were obviously Japanese themed, while the Espada were Spanish. And then you have, now with the Blood War arc, you have the Quincy's, which are heavily German.
I was gonna say, yeah, weren't the Quincy's like German based?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're literally called the Wandenreich.
Okay, yeah, that is literally right. That's a fucking German ass word.
Yeah, I probably butchered the fuck out of that, but oh well.
Speaking of something else that hopefully won't be butchered, Gemini, I know you were also looking into the Netflix Avatar series, which I don't even know how to feel about that, honestly.
I also have mixed feelings about it because, it happened. We try not to think about it. We try to ignore its existence of M. Night Shyamalan's dumpster fire of a movie and everything. And so, with the fact that Netflix is doing a live action show of Avatar, on one hand, I'm hoping they do better, but I just in general have very mixed, more leaning towards negative feelings about things being translated from animation to live action because of the fact that there's a lot of things that you kind of lose when you do that, because you can get a lot of great characterization just from the design of the characters when they're animated, and you lose that when they're portrayed live action. And they have shown the actors that they've picked for it, and it is a much better pick of actors for these characters. I feel they do slightly are able to resemble the characters they are portraying. The child they chose for Aang does look like a young child who could pass off as a decent Aang and everything. And I have seen, and they're not bad. I think they had released who is, I believe, going to be Ozai, which is, I just saw it. Daniel Day Kim, I think, is going to be Ozai, which he does look like he could make a perfect Fire Lord and everything, like a good portrayal of him. But I'm still just nervous about it because of the fact that it's such a tricky thing. But they have at the very least released the names of the episodes of season 1, and it does look like they're following pretty much the same way season 1 had went of the animated show of, meeting Aang, going to Omashu, and then eventually like the whole plot of traveling to the North Pole. It does look like they're keeping that. It's, with episode 1, it's called The Last Airbender. Episode 7 is the North and everything. So, they eventually do follow, it looks like they're going to pretty much follow the show, the animated show, in a few less episodes, which makes me curious what they'll cut out. Probably some of like the ones that didn't really add a whole lot to the story.
Ones that felt like mostly filler, they're probably cutting out.
Yeah, more unlikely, which is fine, but at the same time, I feel like they still could get away with that because acting is hard. Acting is a job. It's a lot of work, but animation also can sometimes be even more difficult because you have all that you have all that stuff that you have to do. It can take years to properly animate something, but I know it can also take years to properly act something out. So I don't know. I really hope that it will be at the very least better than the movie, but who knows? It could flop, it could do really well, it could just kind of go mediocre. It's like I said, at the very least they are doing better in the sense of their casting choices. I'm really hoping they do better in the pronunciation of certain names, such as Ong. Yeah, I really hope they do better.
And also the delivery of lines too can be, and the action. The action was just so slow in the movie.
Yeah, I remember the scene in the variant we do not like to discuss or remember of I think when they're at the earthbending camp or the prison.
God, the motions they were doing for the earthbending.
The earth is an extension of who you are.
As they're literally sitting in a pile of dirt. In a quarry.
And they have 5 people doing all these choreographed moves to move a single boulder.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that I feel like they will keep that because that kind of was an integral part of the story and everything that episode.
I just hope it's more fluid motion.
Right.
Obviously they put the hand up and the rock moves up. Now they do a whole fucking jujitsu gesture for one rock to move.
I can kind of see that, but the whole premise of the show, with even the animated series, is every bending style was a legitimate form of martial arts. So in order to get those motions, they had to perform, these forms of martial arts. I think waterbending was Tai Chi, if I recall. I don't remember the names for all of them, but I'm pretty sure waterbending was Tai Chi. So all of the moves Katara did was a form of Tai Chi, and that's how they were able to, bend. And I think there were a few instances where they just waved their hand and they could bend, but 9 chances out of 10, the only way they were able to really do it is if they went through the full motions.
Yeah, but the difference is when you do the motions, there's a lot more happening on screen to elicit the fact that they're bending an element.
Yeah, so at the very least, I'm hoping, if they do that, they will still have the element moving with them versus they do the motion and then it's just woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. A delayed 3 seconds later. While they're doing it, yeah, that's great because, like I said, it's almost like a form of their form of spell casting almost.
Uh-huh.
But it's not, because it's not magic, it's bending. I know that is literally one of the first things that's said in the first episode, but it's still that's how they are able to do it. So if they do it and it's fluid together, then that's great. If it's not and it's live action first variant, oof. Yeah, which is why I do have hope for this one, but it's like on the fence hope, just because of the fact that, like, you know, it's failed once before and it was not great. So like the bar is quite low, and I'm really hoping they don't manage to dig a trench under that bar.
Right.
This will be releasing in 2024, so sometime next year. They don't have a solid date yet, if I recall. Just like a year, like a rough year's estimate, which is fine because, you know, if they need to, you know, push it back, that's fine. I would rather they, you know, push
Delay.
it back to like mid to late 2024 versus trying to pump it out in the beginning of 2024. And it's like, ooh, this
Right.
could have had some more time put into it.
Yeah, there could definitely be that's the one thing when it comes to like serialized shows, like definitely taking the extra time is going to be helpful for its overall just look and feel. You can definitely tell when something's been just like fucking shat out, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally.
Speaking of situations that have been shat on, I really want to take some time to talk about this Rick and Morty situation. Not about Justin Roiland and all the shit he did, because that's like a whole other situation, but I want to talk about the fact that the team behind Rick and Morty have revealed that, like, in the sense of storyboarding and the writer's room, they have up to season 11 basically done.
11? What are they on now? 5?
No, they just finished. I say just finished, but their most recent season was season 6.
Okay, yeah, I don't watch the show, so that's why. Last I knew, I thought there was a season 4, 5.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
you've
going
missed
off
quite a bit.
Well, I'm not a big fan of the show, so I don't really care. My ex would play it in the background. See, he fucking enjoyed that show, and I'm like, ugh.
That's fair. But yeah, another show that Justin Roiland had a hand in was Solar Opposites, and just recently they kind of explained away the voice changing, where one of the aliens shot him with like a voice altering gun and it made him British. But I just think that's kind of an interesting way of, like, we're not gonna know what happened for, like, we haven't even seen a trailer for season 7 for Rick and Morty, so we're not gonna know how they explain it, but at least we have kind of a jumping off point of understanding how they could potentially explain it away. I mean,
have they even announced who's going to be voicing them now?
From what has been said on, like, through interviews and stuff, they are steering away from impressionists, and they're tackling it more in the same way that the character Bugs Bunny has been tackled, like with each different voice actor still sounding the same but having a different kind of
Give their own kind of take at it.
Exactly. And the other thing they said about Rick and Morty is that they I think they're looking into having separate voice actors for both Rick and Morty, which I think is just going to be great. I think that's going to add to it a lot more.
Less stress and work on one actor. Though if they are able to do it fluently and well enough, then great for them, like Seth MacFarlane playing like half the cast in Family Guy.
And then,
or at least not anymore, but he did a phenomenal job in that.
And the creators of South Park literally voicing like pretty much the entire cast of characters, which is just hilarious.
To be fair, it did start out with just those two dudes, so it makes sense. And then they probably just wanted to keep it that way, which again makes sense.
I miss the cardboard aesthetic, man. Like I like how it looks now, but it was just so nostalgic back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. I will admit, like, I didn't mind. I don't know if I watched all of Solar Opposites, but I watched a few episodes, and I didn't actually mind it as much as Rick and Morty. Granted, with Rick and Morty, that was more like the fan base that made me go.
Yeah, it was everybody around the show that
you
that
were one
like,
of them.
At least I didn't go to a McDonald's and screech to the heavens about Pickle Rick.
You weren't, but you were like literally every other day be like, oh dude, you need to watch Rick and Morty. It's like the greatest show ever. You need to fucking watch Rick and Morty. It's the best show ever. Pickle Rick. And I'm like, dude, calm down. I don't fucking care. And you're like, dude, no, you need to watch it. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to watch this stupid show. And then all the fucking dudes out there are all like, oh, I'm just like Rick. Pickle Rick. I'm just like, oh.
All right, I will admit
your gremlins showing.
I will admit there definitely was kind of just like not the best fan base for Rick and Morty. You know, they kind of just. I've always hated the adage of, you need a 10th level intellect to understand it.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, those Pickle Rick, and you have to have a high level of intelligence to even understand the Rick and Morty. It's like, dude, no, you don't. It's literally just fucking dick jokes and crude humor.
And
all you need is like a basic level of understanding to even to comprehend it. Like a child will laugh at that shit.
Doctor Strange literally had a movie called Multiverse of Madness. I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy to understand the concept of a multiverse. I think that about sums up all of the recent stories that have been going on around pop culture. I would like to extend a thank you to my lovely guests, Gemini and Blaze.
You're welcome.
Thank you both for accompanying me through this journey, and thank you, listeners, for taking the time to listen to our little show of nonsense. And just as always, please feel free to check out all of the news and the movies and the series that we've talked about today. Make sure to check out all the other podcasts that have been going on CJSW. And we will see you in the next episode. Farewell, audience.
Bye-bye.
Time to fuck up this podcast.
I'm so glad that I hit record before that, dude. Holy shit, dude. That's definitely going in. Alright. Time for the best intro ever. Can we get some water?
I don't know. I think my intro is a pretty good one.
Yeah. You and your fucking intros. You fucking.
My intros.
Okay, come on.
What?
Oh, guys, reverted to a baby.
Sorry, I just needed to test if my mini fridge was picking up on the mic. All right, anyways. Okay. We're already at a minute of recording. Okay.
Woo!
Welcome to the Welcome. Oh my god, it's gonna be so. This intro's gonna be so fucking loud. I gotta turn this down. There we go. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news surrounding pop culture. Man, I'm trying to read it verbatim on the script, and I tried something different and fuck it up. Okay, anyways. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening. No! God, I hate life.
My God,
I hate life.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, shut up. Okay. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all of the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Let's go! Yes, I get to pop off because I did the intro right, and I can just take out all the other shit. Okay, anyways.
Totally didn't take like 3 tries.
Shut up, all right? God, so fucking annoying. Also, I'm gonna try.
I aim to please.
Also, I'm gonna try to swear more, so that way there's more split.
Yeah, fucking swear more.
Yeah,
goddamn.
yeah. What the fuck, bro? Just fucking swear more.
I was gonna try and stop.
No, it's fine. That's why I implemented the editing thing, because I want you guys to feel like you can just naturally talk as you
Honestly, with this day and age, swearing is just so casual in modern day language these days.
Right.
It really is. I don't care what people try to fucking say.
You add it to enhance the sentence at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you get it.
And it's not like I'm saying certain words that shouldn't be said that are bad.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna continue.
I
from
swear
there.
to God, I swear to God, if that didn't get added into the podcast, I will riot.
Don't worry, everything will be included. Anyways.
I got a funny story that's kind of Rick and Morty related. I think you guys might get a kick out of. So I used to work at a store called FYE, called acronym for 4-Year Entertainment. If you guys know what that store is or not, I don't even know if Canada has one of those.
Yeah.
We have an FYE, but I didn't know that's what it stood for, so that's good to know.
But it was basically a big pop culture store funny enough for this podcast. But there was a lot of Rick and Morty merch that it sold, and we had these like smoking jackets that had like Pickle Rick art all over them.
That's great.
And smoking jackets are basically like the short robes that you would wear with like pajama pants underneath and stuff. But basically this group of guys walked in and bought all of our smoking jackets, and as I was ringing them up, I asked what they were all why they all decided to grab these. Turns out one of them was getting married, and for the reception party afterwards, they were all going to get out of their tuxes and wear the Pickle Rick smoking jackets at the wedding party.
That's cringe.
That hurts.
Cringe.
I wish one of them would have came back and showed me pictures as proof.
That's so cringe. And you said that was this for the wedding or the bachelor party?
The wedding, like after the wedding, they have the reception party afterwards.
Oh, God.
They were gonna wear them during that.
I would have died of cringe.
I would have too. I would have wanted to fucking kill myself if like my husband did that. Like, oh, dude, babe, so we're gonna do this and just whip out fucking smoke Rick and Morty jackets with Pickle Rick. I would have been all like, all right, we're annulling this shit right now. Hell no.
Right.
Hell no.
Oh man. That's fucking hilarious, actually.
So you guys get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's. Oh God. I would like to see the pictures of that, but just because it's like, ooh.
Yeah, right.
The morbid curiosity of wanting to just have your body convulse inwards.
However, if that was the case, then I would be all like, all right, baby, you want to do some cringe shit? I'll do some fucking cringe shit back. And if he bitches, then I'm like, well, then you ain't doing your idea. So I hope either that his bride was on board with that. I really hope she was, because if she wasn't, that poor woman.
It was a complete impulse buy on their part, and I didn't see the fiance anywhere with them.
Oh God, that a part of me feels like then she didn't know about it, and like I said, I really hope either she enjoyed the show or at the very least really, really loved this man, because God Almighty. That
really testing the faith on day one.
Honestly, like not even like 24 hours into it, and you're doing that shit. Like, goddamn, that poor woman. I really hope that she either was on board with it or at the very least like learned to just deal with his shit, because I wouldn't.
I mean, yeah.
I say that, but
only the strongest can. Only the strongest can withstand the Rick and Morty fan base. Yeah, I think
I'm one of them.